Is Edgar the most overpowered brawler in Brawl Stars? Well, the short answer is not really. I myself don't really play Edgar, however something I do notice is that everyone who does use Edgar usually have the same gadgets, gears, and star power. This of course includes that obnoxious gadget known as Hardcore, which protects him from 3,135 damage. His gear usually includes anything that tries to give him more damage, however his star power is definitely the backbone of this. So here's my first match of solo showdown, and already I'm going up against a really annoying brawler known as Miko, who unironically might be overpowered himself. He of course tries to attack me, but luckily I activate my gadget in time and I make quick work of him. Barely 20 seconds in and I probably already convinced 30% of Brawl Stars players that Edgar is overpowered, even though he really isn't. So next I proceed to annihilate this Rico who absolutely had no chance against me, but as soon as I finished him off, another Edgar showed up and I surprisingly managed to defeat him with ease, and I finally attacked this Stu who tried to run away but failed. Shortly after that, it's just me against another brawler, and little did I know it was just an AFK Frank, which causes me to win the match.
So awesome.
Hopping into my second match, the first opponent that I encounter is a Frank who is not AFK this time, which means his chances of surviving were a little higher, but not enough. About 30 seconds later, it's just me against this Max who had absolutely no chance of winning against me. I'm not going to bother talking about what happened in this match, but I am going to talk about what makes Edgar so powerful. So obviously one of the biggest things that Edgar has going for him is damage per second. He is very similar to other brawlers such as El Primo, who could do lots of damage in a short while with a very limited range. However, unlike El Primo, his super recharges per second, which means that he doesn't have to take damage or attack other brawlers in order to fill it up. And this in my opinion is the reason why he's the most powerful and dangerous brawler in maps where there's more cover and less open areas. Because all he really has to do is hide in a bush until his meter fully charges up, and as long as he activates his shield, he can take down almost any brawler who is not aware or who does not react fast enough. A bad example of this is when I tried to attack this Daryl who not only used his super to get away but also do massive damage. Part of this was my fault because I continued to chase him even when he was clearly out of range. And it doesn't help that this cult was after me as well. So I think it's safe to say that Edgar functions a lot more as an ambush brawler than anything else. If you're fighting another brawler in a large open area with a long range of attack, it's most likely that you're not going to win. But what if you have to face Edgar yourself? Well, in this case, I'm playing as El Primo, who is the opposite of long range, but he is definitely the most similar to Edgar. Right now, I'm trying to do any damage that's possible from a far distance without having him do damage against me. Unfortunately, this does not work, so I toss him away, but he uses his super against me and tries to catch up, but then realizes he can't. A little while later, I catch up to him and I finally manage to defeat him without him activating his super. After that, I go up against the second Edgar who traps himself in this corner, which means I can now use my super effectively without missing. So now it's just me against two Edgars and one Spike, and I want you to pay close attention to this specific fight with me against one of the Edgars. In case if you didn't catch everything, I first proceed to throw in a few punches to get my super, which I then follow up with a suplex and I finish him off. I managed to do all of that without suffering too much damage or having the Edgar use his super to get away. And funny enough, it also happens to this poor Edgar as well. So just to wrap up my thoughts on Edgar, I do think he is powerful, but I don't think he is the most overpowered brawler in the game. He definitely has some advantages on specific maps, but the same could be said for many other brawlers. And even when that's true, it's not always a guaranteed win because it also depends on how good the player is. But nevertheless, those are just my thoughts on Edgar. Anyways, have a good day.